Talking Life. I'm Peter Janetski, and we're going to take a call from Amy. Hello.
Hello, Peter. How are you?
I'm not too bad. Yourself?
Yeah, not too bad.
What would you like to share with us?
I'd like to share you my story. Please be a bit patient with me. I get nervous telling you this. Okay, I am the adopted daughter of a lesbian relationship. I am 21 years old, and going through these years was really, really hard for me because I desperately wanted a daddy. Everyone at school, all the girls had their daddy come pick them up from school, and I had my mum. Didn't worry me so much until I got to about 13, I think it was, when we had sex ed at school. And everybody, talking about male and female, and I immediately, as a young girl, knew that that was the way it was meant to be between a man and a woman. And the relationship that my supposed mums had was not normal. From about 14 onwards, I started to, let's say, rebel, not in rebel as in against them, but rebel against their lifestyle. I kept asking about my father, like who was my dad. So it wasn't until I was 15 that a friend of my biological mother slipped. She was on a drunken night and slipped that my biological mother actually did have a boyfriend. And I did have a biological father, and if I did wanted to, I could find him. I, naughty as I was, went through my mother's photo albums, and I found a photo, funny enough, she must have left it, of my biological father. And I asked her, the lady that told me, was this him? And she denied it. Obviously, she was sober now. Reminded her of the night, and she admitted it, but told me never to tell my dad, or tell my mum. When I turned 18, I went searching for my dad, and praise God, I did find him. It was very confronting for him, and he was very aggressive at first, and I was frustrated. But then when I was persistent and cried that I really wanted my daddy,
Take a big breath, because you're
beautiful, Abby. It's really beautiful.
You're doing really, really well, Amy.
Yes, you are, Amy.
Just take a big breath, and I want to say I really appreciate your courage in sharing your story, because, when we discuss these topics, for most of us it's theoretical, but this is your life.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's why I really appreciate it.
Okay. And then he broke down and told me, this is outside his house, he broke down and told me that he and my mother, he was in love with my mother. And it came out that when she found out she was pregnant with me, she admitted that she was in a lesbian relationship, obviously cheating on him. She admitted she only used him to have a baby so that she and the woman that she was with, who was my supposed mother, could have a child, so they wouldn't have to go through, adoption papers and everything. And that's when he snapped. And I had never been in a relationship ever since. And it was hard for me to take that. Obviously, I was very angry at my mother. How dare she try and take my life and use it how she wanted it. And but I gained a great relationship with my biological father. And to this day, we constantly have talks. My mother doesn't know. I know that if she did know, I don't know what would happen to me. But I just keep it under covers. And every single night we chat. And his birthday was 2 weeks ago. And so we celebrated. It was really, really lovely. It was at his house. And it was a great feeling, but it was really different because I've never known what it was like to be with a daddy. And I said for the first time on his birthday that I loved him, and he broke down and cried because I'm his only daughter. He's never had a relationship ever since then. And so I just wanted to say, on that half, being on that side without having a daddy and growing up, in that stance, that with this relationship and going on and wanting, equality and everything, marriage in that stance is not marriage, as I have seen in my two supposed mums, is that I could never ever have siblings unless it was done in the same way that my mum did with my dad. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Amy, I got to say, you've really moved me.
Okay.
As a father of two daughters,
Yeah.
I feel great sadness of you being deprived of your dad, and how lovely it is that you've actually connected with your dad and having some relationship. And you said something about mum's selfishness, and this is one of the things that's in this debate, is that children are not objects or a commodity.
Yeah.
You know, you're a person, and it wasn't about, you know, the whole thing around this gay marriage and gay parenting thing is and this is where we started with the ad. Think about the children. You had a right to know about your dad.
Absolutely.
And your mum deprived you of that right for her agenda.
Yeah.
And there is pain in that. And I just am so grateful that you were courageous enough to actually share that with us. Because we hear quotes of, you know, that, you know, kids growing up in the situation we're in, there's no damage or no harm. And the research...
hell no.
The research says it doesn't. It says that's not true. And you're telling us it's not true.
Oh, yeah.
Okay?
That is definitely not true.
And I want to say I value that for you. And if I could crawl through the phone and give you a big hug, that's what I would do. And Wendy looked at me then and she'd do the same too, you know. And I'm sure that'd be true for David as well. You know?
Amy, that was really, really so beautiful. Can I ask, were you listening in when I was quoting that passage from the
I've been
exactly your position?
The beginning. I've been listening from the beginning.
So you know you're not alone. I think if you... Remember, I'm not giving people our website address often enough, but it's australianmarriage.org. And if you go there, you'll be able to link to that beautiful essay she wrote and the letters from the others, because you're in much bigger company than you probably realise of young people who felt just the same. And, hey, look, you've got a big opportunity for heavy-duty forgiveness for your mum. I'm sure you've been working on that, and that's beautiful too. But nothing, you know, that's great. But nothing can take away the heartache and the loss and the grief of you not having what your birthright was, what you should have had. You should have had that dad enjoying you, enjoying this beautiful person that comes across even in your little talk tonight. He should have had the joy of your company all his life, let alone you enjoying him. So, hey, this is the deep things of life, is to have a mum and a dad, and you've put it more beautifully than I've heard anyone put it for so long. So thank you so much for that.
And through no choice or fault of your own, you have been deprived of your dad as you're growing up. But the fact that you have reached out and you are blessing him now is amazing as well. And I just I want to applaud you for that as well.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say something. When my dad, when he found out that my mum had a girl, he said, oh my goodness, she's doomed. Because he thought that I would turn out to be like her. And so when I told him that I loved him on his birthday, he broke down and cried and gave me the biggest hug. And he said to me that he loved me with all his heart. And I promised him that he would walk me down the aisle when I get married. And I can tell you nothing more, but I couldn't stop him. I've never seen a man cry so hard. So when I told him that, he was just like so moved. And I just wanted to say that it is not A-OK for the relationship.
I got to say, you are a courageous young woman, and that, you've shared your pain with us, but you have got a determination and courage that will serve you well. And you have blessed us tonight. So
there's one problem though, Peter. I just don't know if there's any guy out there good enough for someone like that.
Yeah, that's right. I was going to say, we all want to come to your wedding.
Peter, after our generation went through, mate, there's not much talent out there.
Thank you so much, guys. You really uplifted me. And, Peter, I listen to you every single night, and I really appreciate the radio show. And I just want to say God bless, really. You're doing such a great job.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
God bless
Thank
you
so much.
Bye.
Bye.
Talking life, and what can I say? Wow.
Wow. Now, look, Peter, that's why radio exists, live radio. Remember I mentioned Joe the barrister?
Yep.
I thought that was the highlight of the last 2 weeks of public debate. I think Amy's talk, that little testimony from Amy was the most valuable thing I've heard.
That's amazing.
It was straight from the heart,
and
it clarifies everything, doesn't it? That, hey, little girls need dads, big girls need dads, little boys need mums and they need dads, and we mustn't mess with the deep things of human nature.